Today we're going to be learning how to use our Buret. So first thing we need to do is clean it, and before adding any liquid, make sure that it is closed. So you can see right here when the valve is in this position, it is closed. When it is in this position, it is open. So make sure before adding any liquid, it is closed. So you're going to get your wash bottle with a little bit of water in there, and just put about 5 or 10 milliliters in. Alright, so then after adding some water to this, you just want to hold it over a waste container, which is right here, and you just spin this around to make sure that the water has washed off all of the interior surfaces. And then when you're done, just go and hold it over your waste container and let it drain. Alright, now after it's done draining, there's always going to be a little residual water left in here, and again, we don't want this to dilute, so we want to also rinse this out with our solution we're going to be using as well. So taking a small amount of our solution, we're just going to add, again, about 5 or 10 milliliters to this, and do the same procedure, just moving it around to gently coat the insides and get rid of any dilution from the water. And then once you've done that, let it drain. Now actually we have a little issue right here. I have this open, and you'll notice that the water isn't coming out. This is actually due to surface tension. So there's just not enough pressure from the liquid up here to push the liquid out. If that happens, just close it up and then just add a little bit more liquid, and that will increase enough pressure that will push the liquid out. So hopefully it should work now. There we go. So most of the time that's not actually because it's clogged, it's just a surface tension issue. So we've rinsed this out now, and now we can be fairly confident that we're not going to have any dilution from any residual water left in there. Okay, next we want to set up our ring stand. So we'll have over here our ring stand. This is a Buret clamp. Simply put this on and tighten it up. And then clamp your Buret inside there. And just be fairly gentle, and it will hold fairly easily. And just make sure you can read all of your marks. Then we want to fill it up, again making sure that your bottom here is closed. So when you're filling this up, you want to use a small beaker. This can hold a total of 50 milliliters, so we don't want to use a large beaker like this and try to fill it up, because it's going to be very easy to overfill it. So instead, if we just use a small beaker, we know that we're not going to overfill this thing. Alright, now before you start using it, you'll notice that there is a large bubble down here. We want to make sure that this bubble is gone, because otherwise our first reading is not going to be accurate. So you want to hold this over your waste container and then just open it up full blast, and this will get rid of the air bubble very easily. Alright, and now the bubble is gone. Okay, next up, you want to be able to read where your mark is. And to read this mark, remember these go to 0.01 milliliters. So that's how you want to actually read these. And also notice the way these count. We start at 0 at the top and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 downwards. So right now this is going to be read between these marks. And so right here, notice each mark here is 0.1 milliliters, and we want to estimate between the mark. So all your volume should be to 0.01 milliliters accuracy. Now when everything is set up, you want to make sure, first of all, that there is no air bubble in there, so we're good there. Also make sure that you have read where your starting point is to 0.01 milliliters. And then we want our end of our Buret to be inside of our flask, because we want to make sure that it doesn't accidentally drip on the outside. Now what I'm going to do here is relevant for people who are right-handed. If you happen to be left-handed, do the opposite. So in your right hand, you want to be holding your flask because it's going to be very easy to swirl the flask with your right hand, but you try swirling it with your left hand, you're probably not going to have as quite an easy time. So make sure you're swirling with your right hand, unless of course you are left-handed. And then what we want to do is, notice here is my left hand, and for my left hand I'm going to be reaching around so I can control the knob over here. So what you're going to do is swirl with your right hand while controlling the flow rate here with your left hand. And then what you're going to have happen is, your liquid is going to start coming out eventually, and you can simply just control that either if you want, a strong flow where it's coming out very fast, or if you want a weaker flow where you just want a drip at a time. And again, it's very easy just to control this with your left hand. So then at this point, you're basically just swirling around and just watching for whatever color change you're actually looking for during your titration. And then once you get your desired color change and you're all good, make sure that you close the valve to stop any additional stuff coming through, and then you go and read whatever level you're actually at, and then you're basically done. And here again, we'd be reading our level to the 0.01 milliliter mark. So as you can see, there's my 24, there's my 23, which is up there. And again, we'd be reading this to the 0.01 milliliter mark. And then once you are done with this, you can just drain the rest of this into your waste container, and make sure that you clean it out in the same way that we started with, by rinsing with a little bit of water to get rid of any contamination, so it's nice and clean for the next person.